Hey all, welcome back to SLB Basement Bourbon Bar. My name is Kurt. Today we're going to take a little time off from our Bourbon Madness tournament to do a special show. The good folks at the Bourbon Van, Phil and Julie, asked us and other whiskey tubers to showcase our top 5 bourbon or whiskeys in our own home state. What a cool idea. I was more than happy to do that. Trenton brought it up to me. I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. So today I'm going to be trotting out 5 of my favorite bourbons and whiskeys right here from Indiana. Before we do, let me just give you a little bit of an idea of what's coming up. Don't worry, we're going to jump right back into that Bourbon Madness tournament on Wednesday. We'll release the video where we clean out the last 2 brackets of the Elite 8 and we will find out which bottles are in the final 4. And then coming up Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Time, we'll have the live show to determine which bottle eventually will be the champion. So don't miss that. Put it in your calendar, set alarm on your phone. Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, live show for the finale of the Bourbon Madness tournament. Okay, moving on, let's get into the topic of the day. Thank you to the Bourbon Van for inviting us to do this particular show. For all the folks out there, if you want to see some great content from some good people, check out some of the videos at the Bourbon Van here on YouTube. All right, very first bottle that I want to show you right here from Indiana. It's a good budget bottle in my opinion. Eight & Sand blended bourbon whiskey. 8 & Sand blended bourbon whiskey cost me about $30 and comes in at 88 proof. 8 & Sand blended bourbon is a release from MGP Ingredients in Indiana, and it is the first in the distillery's new Rack House series. The name is inspired by the American Railroad, with 8 being the fastest notch on a locomotive's throttle, and sand is used on train wheels to prevent slipping. In my opinion, for $30, this is a real nice, tasty bourbon. You get some really nice apple and nutmeg and a little bit of cinnamon flavors out of this. You really do. And being 88 proof, for those of you who are not quite ready for the barrel proofs and the higher proof bourbons, this is perfect. What an easy sipper. Some really nice, beautiful flavors. And I know sometimes when you say easy sippers, you might think, well, the flavors might be muted. They're not very strong, but not the case with this particular bottle. These flavors are pretty pronounced, and it's a real nice blended bourbon. For $30, you just can't beat it. All right, next in line. This is one I've wanted to show you for quite some time. Backbone Bourbon. Backbone single barrel bourbon cost me about $60. My bottle comes in at 123.4 proof. The name is a tribute to the backbone of America, the Midwest. Backbone bourbon is a true uncut whiskey, one that's meant to be sipped and savored. Backbone is distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, and bottled in Bardstown, Kentucky. It follows a rough mash bill of 70% corn, 25% rye, and 5% malted barley. This particular bourbon, I bought it, this is a store pick, and this came from one of our local stores. So I got it. Probably Trent, a year and a half or so ago. It's been a little while. And I've talked to him. I've wanted to put this on a show for a while now because, boy, this is a full flavor Mac Daddy right here. This thing is full flavor. You got some burnt sugar, some caramel, some real deep brown sugar and molasses notes in there. I mean, this has got flavor upon flavor upon flavor. It is a tad bit hot. This is a 5-year-old bourbon. It's been aged for 5 years. It drinks just a tad hot, so a few drops of water over an ice cube would be a great idea. But let me tell you, what I love to see, Trenton, on this, what I'd love to see is if they release something that's more of a, an 8-year type bourbon. because if you get that 7 or 8 years, a little bit more aging on this thing right here would be just phenomenal. Really, really good. If you like a barrel proof, uncut bourbon with some real strong flavors, this one will hit every note. It's fantastic. Next on the list, Rossville Union Barrel Proof Rye. This Rossville Union cost me about $59. Comes in at 112.6 proof. As the name suggests, this is the cask strength version of Rossville Union, the first proprietary rye brand released by MGP Ingredients in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. This is a blend of 2 mash bills, 51% rye, 45% corn, and 4% malted barley, along with a 95% rye and 5% malted barley. The barrels chosen for this blend had been aged for 5 and 6 years. I'm just going to tell you something right now. MGP, they know how to distill some rye whiskey. Am I right, Trent? I'm here to tell you, man, this stuff is really, really good. I mean, you do get some rye spicers, there's no doubt about that. It's going to get you with a little bit of it's really cool. It's got a little bit of a hint of a baked bread in there, and it comes in with a little bit of vanilla. But what's so nice about this particular rye, there's a real solid cherry note in there too. I mean, a real profound cherry note. Extremely well balanced. It drinks lesser than the proof, trust me. It gets you a little bit of bite with that rye spice, and the proof is a little higher, but man, it doesn't drink that hot at all. It really, really doesn't. Such a good, well-balanced rye with some immaculate flavors. It's just fantastic. Let's move on down the line. Next bottle I've got to show you. Old 55 single barrel. This Old 55 single barrel bottled in bond cost me about $75, and of course comes in at 100 proof. Located in Newton, Indiana, Old 55 Distillery is a true family business. Every part of their spirit is permeated with lessons passed down to them from their grandfathers. This bourbon is made from an unusual corn wheat mash bill, but contains no malted barley. It is then aged right in Newton County for a minimum of 4 years. Here is the lowdown skinny with this bottle. For any of you out there that love a sweet bourbon, this is your bottle. I know it's a tad bit pricey at about 75 bucks, but I'm just telling you, if you love a sweet bourbon, this thing has sweetness all over it. It gets in your palate with some sugary sweetness and some caramel, vanilla, brown sugar, maybe just a little hint of maple. I mean, it's sweetness from the front of your palate to the back of your palate and on through the finish. It's really, really a nice pour. And it's not overly sappy or overly sweet, because that 100 proof kicks in, and it's at a perfect proof point to really balance out all of the sweetness. Hey, if you want a real tasty treat for a bourbon, this is your bottle right here. Old 55 single barrel bottled in bond. Last but not least, I have to tell you, I saved my favorite for last. This is just the bomb. Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye. This bottle cost me about 75 bucks and comes in at 115.2 proof. This is the first whiskey distilled, aged, and bottled at Hard Truth Distillery, located in Nashville, Indiana. Made with a sweet mash rather than a sour mash, this rye was made using their #1 mash bill, which is 94% rye and 6% malted barley. It is uncut and unfiltered, bottled at cask strength. Honest to goodness, if you get any of these bottles that are on the bar top tonight, all of them I think are really good. Right here from Indiana, get this bottle. It is an amazing experience. It's only been aged for 3 years too, but boy, the flavors that come out of there, it's just beautiful. It's very unique. you get some really nice sweetness up front, very buttery, bit viscous. Then it hits you with a little bit of a peppercorn spice, and it's not really a rice spice to me. It's more of a peppercorn type spice, and then it gets you to some orchard fruits. Some beautiful orchard fruit tones in there, and for me, it has a raisin tone to it too that's just spectacular. Into the finish, you're going to hit just a little bit of butterscotch. I'm not kidding. It's just that good. $75. If you see this anywhere, I highly recommend you pick it up. It's a rye whiskey experience that you won't find with very many other bottles. And I'll tell you, Trent, if this doesn't hit my top 5 list of rye whiskeys by the end of this year, I don't know what will. It is spectacular. Hey, I had a great time. Thanks once again to the Bourbon Van, Phil and Julie. Appreciate you including us into this special. As once again, check out their content on their channel as well. Fantastic people. Hey, appreciate each and every one of you. As always, we're going to ask you to please drink responsibly. It's very important to the show. We'll see you next time right down here with me when we figure out the last 2 brackets of the Elite 8, see who gets into the Final 4 of the Bourbon Madness Tournament. See you later.